A nation divided. Welfare reform sparks fierce debate. The UK is locked in a bitter clash over the government's sweeping reforms to its welfare system. A battle pitting the Prime Minister's determination to rein in spiraling costs against Labour's impassioned defence of vulnerable citizens. The debate rages, fueled by stark statistics and deeply held convictions about social responsibility and economic pragmatism. The Prime Minister, in a powerful op-ed in The Times, paints a picture of a nation struggling under the weight of an unsustainable benefit system. The headline-grabbing figure, 1 in 8 young people neither in education, employment, nor training NEET, underscores the scale of the challenge. Adding to this alarming statistic is the staggering number of 2.8 million working-age individuals sidelined by long-term sickness, a workforce lost to the economy and struggling to make ends meet. The Prime Minister argues that these sobering realities demand decisive action, justifying the controversial welfare overhaul as a necessary intervention to safeguard public finances and stimulate economic growth. The escalating benefits bill, he contends, is devastating for public finances and has already exacted a terrible human cost, a cost he implicitly seeks to mitigate through these reforms. However, the opposition, led by Keir Starmer, vehemently rejects this assessment. Starmer's counterargument, resonating with the concerns of countless citizens and advocacy groups, centers on the devastating human impact of these changes. His powerful rhetoric directly confronts the heart of the Prime Minister's justification. Young people shut out of the labor market at a formative age. People with complex long-term conditions, written off by a single assessment. People who want to return to work, yet can't access the support they need. This, Starmer argues, is not mere economic mismanagement, it's a moral failing. It's an affront to the values of our country and labor's history, a betrayal of the fundamental principle of supporting those most in need. The heart of the controversy lies in the proposed changes to disability payments, a move fiercely criticized by disability rights organizations and charities alike. The Disability Benefits Consortium, a coalition representing over 100 organizations, issued a stark warning. The devastating cuts will push more disabled people into poverty and worsen people's health. This condemnation highlights the profound concern that the reforms, while ostensibly aimed at fiscal responsibility, will inflict significant and potentially irreversible harm on the most vulnerable members of society. The Prime Minister's justification rests on the premise that the current system is unsustainable, fostering dependency and discouraging work. The reforms, he argues, are designed to incentivize employment and create a more efficient, targeted approach to welfare provision. This involves stricter eligibility criteria, increased scrutiny of benefit claims, and a greater emphasis on rehabilitation and job training programs. Critics, however, argue that this approach is overly punitive and neglects the complexities of disability and long-term illness. They point to the risk of increased poverty, reduced access to health care, and the potential for further marginalization of already vulnerable populations. The single assessment process, a key component of the reforms, is particularly controversial. Critics argue that it fails to adequately capture the nuances of individual circumstances and risks unfairly denying vital support to those who genuinely need it. This concern is amplified by the lack of readily available, comprehensive support systems designed to help individuals transition back into employment, leaving many feeling abandoned and without recourse. The debate extends beyond mere economic policy. It delves into the very fabric of the nation's social contract. It questions the government's commitment to social justice and its responsibility to protect its most vulnerable citizens. The stark contrast between the Prime Minister's emphasis on fiscal responsibility and Labour's focus on human dignity underscores a deep societal divide. The coming months will likely see further heated exchanges, protests, and legal challenges as the government pushes ahead with its reforms, and the opposition fights to protect the rights and livelihoods of those most at risk. The ultimate outcome will not only shape the nation's economic landscape, but will profoundly influence its social conscience and its understanding of its responsibilities towards its citizens. The battle for the future of the welfare state is far from over.